Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. And thank you especially to the patrons who make this possible for you every single day with their support at patreon.com/SW7x7. So it made sense that the fine folks at Lucasfilm would give us a new trailer for The Acolyte on May the 4th. It was, after all, Star Wars Day, and what better way to celebrate with a very strong trailer for The Acolyte coming out in just one short month from Star Wars Day. But now, over the weekend, we got a commercial-sized 30-second clip that they're calling Conflict on the Star Wars YouTube channel. It's a longer series of cuts from the scene where the character that appears to be Mae, or some version of Mae, is fighting Indara, the Jedi Master played by Carrie-Anne Moss. But they dropped it on a Saturday, which on the one hand, it's, exactly a week after the May 4th trailer, so it makes sense in one hand. On the other hand, it's not going to catch a lot of attention on a Saturday, or at least it seems like it might not, because I didn't even know about it until I went looking for something else on the Star Wars YouTube channel and happened to see it there. Those are the kind of questions that probably aren't really important in the grand scheme of things, and yet I'm still so curious to know. But anyway, we were talking about the fact that it's a longer set of scenes from the fight sequence between Mae and Master Indara, and it really does look like they are leading us up to believe that this fight sequence ends with Mae killing Master Indara. But the thing is that I don't think we can necessarily say for sure that we're watching Indara be killed by Mae, because the scenes seem to be taking place at two different times. So if you go back and look at the trailer that they released on May the 4th, and there's a voiceover about last night a Jedi was killed, it's laid over a scene where a character who appears to be dressed like Mae is walking away from a lightsaber that's laying on the floor, and whoever that character is uses the Force to call their knives back to them. But that's happening at night, whereas all the scenes that we've seen of Mae and Indara fighting are happening in the daytime. So without a doubt, some kind of misdirection has to be happening with the trailers and with these commercial spots. So yeah, we can start looking at the different visual clues that we're getting, but I think we're going to have to be considering the very strong possibility that we might be being misled, and actively so. I will say I do think it's very cool that they gave Carrie-Anne Moss a green lightsaber, very Matrix-y color, if you will. And I hadn't necessarily thought about this other particular thing previously, but it seems to kind of go along with the idea that we'd been talking about the possibility of that maybe it's not just one Mae, maybe there are two characters that are involved in this somehow. But when we see the Acolyte logo showing up, the O in Acolyte just kind of, it splits just a very little bit. And so you see the red circle of the O, and then just sliding out to peek from behind it is what appears to be sort of a blue mirror of that O. Maybe it's representative of a time when Mae was a part of the Jedi Order, and now she is this Acolyte, and so it's those two different dynamics. But maybe it is also this other thing that we've talked about on the podcast. Now, I would love to know what you think about that. So if you're catching this on YouTube, comments are right there. If you're catching this on Spotify, there's a Q&A section right there. So drop your answer right there. And if you're catching this anywhere else, please head to the blog post for this show's episode at sw7x7.com and let me know what you think. And before we go, I just want to share one little personal thing. So I've had a couple of people reach out to me and ask me if anything's going on. They've heard my voice sound a little bit different on the show, and so yes, there is some sort of some lung thing happening or something. I've had a persistent cough that has lasted for 4 months. I've been to the doctor a couple of times and have no idea what the heck is going on. Have tested negative for COVID around the thing, had x-rays done. So yeah, we're looking into it, and hopefully it hasn't been too distracting to be listening to or watching as I've been working through that and doing the podcast here. But for the folks who've been reaching out, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your concern and your kind words. And yeah, here's hoping that everything's okay and we'll get to the bottom of this at some point. But for now and for today, that is going to do it for this episode of the podcast. If you enjoy the show, please help more people find out about this daily dose of Star Wars joy. You can do that by just telling your friends friends in real life or online, and you can tell the algorithms with a rating or review on your favorite app, or a subscribe, like, follow, join, whatever the app calls it. And you can also even help me in creating this daily dose of Star Wars joy with your support at patreon.com/SW7X7. And it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me, as always, and may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.